What up, champ? How you?
Doing well, man. How are you?
I'm good. I'm good.
Where are you today?
I'm in LA.
Uh, Old hometown. I miss it over there.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
That's cool.
One of the things that was, as I was kind of thinking about what we should talk about, during our time together, I really kind of like started thinking about we were watching you on the award show that you performed on most recently. I can't remember if it was like the American Music Awards or something like that. And then you came out and you started performing your songs. And I was like, I'm talking to my wife. I'm like, Nelly's on right now. She's like, and you're performing Ride With Me, Country Grammar, and Hot in
Mm.
Here. And it's almost like as a music consumer, like you forget how many hits artists have. Like when you got up there and you started singing those songs after all these years, you're like, man, I got some bangers. I got some hits. People love my music even all this time later.
Yeah, yeah. That's good, man. I mean, that's what you hope for. That's definitely what you hope for. I mean, so I'm truly blessed to have Country Grammar. You know what I'm saying? Be more of a staple of my career, or something to that nature. You know what I mean? Yeah, I think
I
that
think it was the
was the
AMAs.
American Music. Yeah, I think it was the
Yeah.
American Music Awards. So I mean, they've been holding Nelly down for a long time. So it was cool to get back up there.
Yeah, man. Well, I'm telling you, like, it was good to see you. And especially like after all this time where, we've been in quarantine, haven't been able to go out. It's almost like what's happening in music now is like what's old is new again, right?
Mhm.
Taking your song Hot in Here and then kind of turning it into the Busted Challenge, which is crazy right now. Like, do you
Yeah.
have any kind of like, you know, I guess reaction to that? Like what when 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 artists take a song that you created, an original piece of art from you, and they turn it into
Mhm.
something new, like what does that say to you about the music that you've created over the years?
I mean, I don't know. People been sampling people's music forever, man. You know what I mean? I mean, I think it's dope. I think it's great for her. She gets the opportunity to have a dope song. I mean, and the fact that she sampled one of my songs, song that was truly successful for me, and now it's been able to be successful for her. That's dope on both ends. So yeah, I'm happy for her as well. You know what I mean? It don't hurt my pockets neither, but I'm definitely happy for her.
Yeah, I was thinking about that. I was like, do I want to talk about that side of things? Because that's more of a
Mhm.
business side thing. But I mean, you can't be hurting from that either, for sure. And it has to, be something that makes you happy too.
Yeah, 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 definitely is. I mean, they called before the song was released because just make sure they get the samples correct and everything like that. And so I had already heard it, so I thought it was a dope record then. And like I said, I'm happy it worked out for her as well. Definitely.
Yeah, so like kind of like one of the things I was thinking about as we were getting ready to talk, I was like, okay, so how am I going to start this? Do we start with, the old and kind of bring it into the new? Is that how we're going to do this? So I wanted to kind of ask, obviously, just having as many hits as you have, you know, do you get nervous still with the new stuff that's getting ready to come out? Is that like,
Mhm.
does that ever go through your mind, or are you like, man, I got this. I've been doing this for years now. I know how this works. I know how this goes.
No, I think it's more or less, it is what it is. You know what I mean? I mean, I mean, you pretty much get used to the cycle. I would want to say, you work hard and hopefully the effort and the things that you put into your music is heard and it gets felt by everybody who you're trying to reach out to. So I mean, a lot of times for myself, I've hit, but it's also been a few times that I've missed. So I mean that goes in with any artist. That's the only way you can have a career. You know what I mean? Because
Yeah.
nobody hits every time. But I think you get into it I mean you get out of it what you put into it. So you just work hard and you try your best. So, but I mean when you're putting out new music after 20 years later, I think the difference becomes um more or less of you trying to figure out how people receive you today as in they did, when you first came out. Because when you first came out, you're the new guy. Everything is fresh and things like that. And then your audience grows. So hopefully you get a chance to connect with new fans, and also reassure your old fans that you're still being who you are and things like that. So I think that's the only test between continuously doing music for several years later.
Yeah, and I think that's one of the interesting, like, challenges, I guess, for artists too, because I've never had to sort of think about that from that perspective.
Mm.
In terms of like an artist coming out, understanding, what their audience expects from them or what their fans expect from them. And then like, okay,
Mhm.
how am I gonna keep my fans happy and then still, embrace new fans and younger
Yeah,
fans and move my career in a slightly different direction where you don't alienate, but you embrace the new.
yeah. You try to reinvent yourself. That's the thing, and you have to keep that on your mind as well. So, I
Yeah, we're
mean,
not all my,
again, yeah, again, like I said, you just, I don't know, you don't really try to think about it too much. You just do you.
yeah. I mean, we all can't be Madonna, right? Reinventing ourselves five, six times. So how long have you and the Florida Georgia line been friends, just acquaintances, homies, just,
Yeah,
fans of
I
each
think
other, I guess?
the first time we connected, I think was like 2013 with the Cruise record. And that came about through my guy Monty Lipman, who
Mm.
was running Universal Republic at the time. He kind of reached out to me. Who still is running Universal Republic, but I'm not over there no more. But he
Mm.
he called me up and was like, "Yo, he had this idea," and he asked me if I ever heard the song "Cruise," and I was like, "Yeah, I heard it," because it had topped the charts on country, but it was just a country record at the time. And he said, "Well, we're thinking about taking the record over, trying to cross it over." And I was like, "Okay, word." And he was like, "Yeah, we wanted to know if it was something I'd be, interested in." And I was like, "Well, let me listen to it. Let me hear and see if it's something, that I could do, that I could do." So, gave it a couple days, and I was like, "Yeah, I think I got a few ideas." And, we sped up the track, and I did some things to it, and shit, man, it worked. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
it did, because I remember when your version came out, and my daughter and I were in the car, and I was like, let me put this on. It's a because we both love the original Cruise, right?
Right.
And my daughter at the time, she was like 13, something like that. And then we put on the Nelly version because I was, still like at the time, I'm not that young anymore, but I was a club DJ. I was like, all right, let's
Mm,
see what this new is. Um,
right.
and I feel like it kind of turns it not into a completely different song, but adds like a whole nother layer of, hipness. It kind of brings it into the street, to the inner city a
Mm.
little bit. Um, is that what the intention was? When you
Well,
try
I
to
think it
add
was
your
just,
flavor onto a Florida Georgia Line
yeah,
song?
yeah. I think that was just it. Just add a little bit more flavor. Just bring some. I mean, I guess if you would call it some Nelly to it. I mean, you know what I mean. Just with a little bit more energy. I mean, it was already a great song. I mean, what can you say? You know what I mean? It
Yeah.
was already a great song. It had already proved itself, even though it had only been on one chart. Now we
Hmm.
had a chance to top a few charts, get some rhythmic in there, get some pop, maybe tap some top 40, you know what I
Right.
mean? And things like that. So uh yeah, I think that was definitely the intention. And man, I mean, it worked. So I think after we hooked up like that, and then just getting a chance to meet each other, they some cool ass cats, man. You know what I mean? And we just bonded, got along. We went on a couple tours together, did a bunch of shows together, and I got to know them. They got to know me. I got to see them sort of grow a little bit, because when I first met them, nobody was married, no kids, no everything.
Right, right.
And then now you look at them today, and everybody's married with children, and they live in these great lives, man. And they're two great guys who love what they do. So yeah, I'm proud to call them friends, man.
Yeah. So, and I think that's kind of an interesting point, because as you start to, see your friends grow, become
Mm,
fathers, become dads, right? You see this
yeah.
different side of them to a certain extent, right?
Yeah,
And
definitely, definitely.
I think the inverse is also true, right? Where, you yourself, you become a father, an uncle, right? What do your
Mm.
kids and your nieces and nephews think when they see dad, uncle on the American Music Awards just a few months ago? Like, that's just my dad. Like, because
Who,
I've been
my
on that
kids?
side. Yeah, yeah,
Man,
your
my kids
kids.
are grown. Man, my kids are grown, man. My kids are like 26 and 28
Uh,
and you know what I'm saying? 20, my youngest is 22. They've been watching. Yeah, I'm just dad, man. I just my kids are I don't want to say they pretty much over it by now, but
yeah.
I mean, they're supportive, of course. I mean, they definitely like it, but it's just me going to work at this point.
Yeah, and like that's the interesting thing too. When obviously there are tons of perks that come with the job that you have, even though I'm sure it's something that you love, right? But
Mhm.
as the kids sort of grow up and they're exposed to that early, it is something that it's just second nature to them. They're like, that's just my dad. I
Yeah.
don't, that's not like, oh my gosh, Nelly, you know.
Yeah, nah. Basically, at that point, I think they friends used to get a lot more kick out of it than they did. You know what I
Mhm.
mean? Like and stuff like that. But nah, they don't trip off of it.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure do you still get those comments from your kids about, dad, you ain't all that. You don't know what you're doing. You know what I mean? Do they try to,
Nah.
no?
They know better than that. They know better than that.
All
No,
right,
I
so
think
what?
I just think it's for them, with them trying to find their own way because they're both interested in music and both interested in a lot of things that has been brought to them as far as being Nelly's kids, as far as entertainment wise, and I think they're all trying to find their niche and figure the things out for themselves and things like that. So yeah, I think they pretty much got the hang of it at this point.
Mhm. So now let's talk about a little bit, like, again, like as you start to
Mm-hmm.
see your friends grow, mature in their own artistry. Obviously, you all artists kind of mature and move on to different projects, different things.
Mm-hmm.
When you talk about, or when you think about a little bit, like, do you have memories that come back from when you guys recorded Cruise together, or was it just completely different this time?
No. I mean, like I said again, we were fortunate enough. We've done two tours, um, probably about 30 cities each tour, and 30 to 40 cities each tour. And then we also done numerous one-offs and surprise shows here and things like that. So I mean, our connection is pretty much it's just genuine. It's never a surprise, so to speak, or
Mm-hmm.
it's never what I mean. It's just like, yo, I'm thinking of this or I'm thinking of that, and vice versa. So I mean, because it's a different song because of the way things played out as far as musically. No, I really didn't get the Cruise vibe, and that's a good thing because one thing you want to be able to do is it's like what I do with my music, and I'm something that I kind of pride myself on is like none of my songs sound alike. Like
Yeah.
none of like if you look at all of the Country Grammar album, like Country Grammar don't sound like EI don't sound like Ride with Me don't sound like Batter Up, and the same thing is when you get to Nellyville. None of the songs on Nellyville sound like Country Grammar. You know what I
Mm-hmm.
mean? And then when you get the Sweatsuit, none of the Sweatsuit songs sound like Nellyville. You know what I
Right.
mean? And
Yeah.
and that's what I think helps you withstand the test of time because your music can branch out so much. And that's what I think we've been able to do here. I think a little bit is a different vibe from what Cruise was, but I still think you get that feeling of country boys just having some fun. You know what I
Mm-hmm.
mean? And I think that's where our energy lies with the music that we do is that, yo, we just like to put that energy into having fun, man. And I think that rides for both of us because that's what I came in doing. That's the Nelly vibe. He's coming in, having a little fun. And FGL is the same way. They kick it the same way. So it matches, man. It merges very well.
Yeah. So ultimately, like, is that always the end goal for you when you do songs, like, look, I just want to have fun doing it. I want to make sure it sounds different from all my other stuff, but I
Well,
just want to have
I don't
fun.
know about all the ways. I don't know about every time. I mean, I've done, a bunch of records that maybe
Yeah.
wasn't as, excuse me, as energetic as the last ones. But I think for the most part with this project, the Heartland project, I think it is more it's still a Nelly album, but it's country inspired. So yeah, when you do go into the Nelly album, it's going to be more maybe like country club bangers almost. You know what I mean? It's just going to have it. It's going to have
Yeah.
that energy. It's going to definitely have that energy, but it's definitely inspired by country. It's not a country album because I never want to disrespect country artists, the country art form, to think that Nelly's just going to wake up and do a country album. That's not it. I definitely appreciate all the love that country music has shown Nelly, from the radio to the people, from the critics and everybody that's shown Nelly so much love, that I'm doing a project that's inspired by all of that love. And you get this Heartland project, but I also want to do something different that maybe their artists don't do. And that's be able to take country music into the clubs and bang your head off in the car and things like that. And that's what I think this project does.
So what are those country music inspirations? What are those big inspirations for you that we'll be able to hear on Heartland?
I mean, it's just more of the sound. It's just more of the sound. It's not me taking bits and pieces from anybody. You know what I'm saying? It's just
right.
It's a Nelly album, but you can hear the sound. Like even if you hear a little bit, it's a banging record, but you can definitely hear that country twang on it, and you can hear it's like, oh, okay. Yeah, you know what I mean? But you could definitely hear it being played in a club, or you could definitely hear it being played in a car, but you can also hear it being played at a bar, or definitely you know what I'm saying, on Broadway and Nashville. You can hear it, you know what I mean? And across the heartland and all through the South and out west, and as far as you can see. So I mean, I think that's just the inspiration of being country inspired.
Does it bring you back, like an album like this? Does it bring you back to your childhood a little bit? Because obviously you.
Well, I wouldn't say childhood, but it definitely puts me back in the heartland. I'm from the Show Me State. You know what I mean?
Right.
I mean, I was born in Texas, but I was raised in St. Louis, and my heart is in St. Louis. St. Louis bred me. You know what I mean? So yeah, you could definitely feel that heartland voice.
Yeah. And what are those things that I guess you try to create? Like when you, I mean, to your point, like it's so hard to like put a pin and like, bam, this is the Nelly sound,
Right.
or this is the Heartland sound. Are there just certain things that you're looking for to kind of put in, or just does it all, it's just got to feel good?
Yeah, it's a feel. It's a feel. It's not descriptive. It's just a feel. You know what I mean? Like if it's almost like you'll know it when you hear it. It's almost like when people tried to ask me to explain the country grammar sound. It's like, no, you'll know it when you hear it. I can't explain it to you. You know what I mean? Like, because it's music, and music is it's a feel. You know what I mean? So
yeah.
I think this is definitely one of those situations where you'll the more and more songs we get a chance to put out, the more and more you get a chance to hear the whole project. I think you'll get exactly what I mean.
Yeah, totally. And it's interesting because I understand like how hard it is to kind of explain some of those, I guess, creative decisions or those vibes to other people, because, when you do have an idea of what you want, no matter if you're an artist, a painter, a landscaper, you draw, like there are certain things that you just can't explain to people, but it when it happens.
You show it. You would rather show it to them. I can't tell you. I would have to show you. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. I got you. So in order for us to hear it, we got to go download this Heartland album real quick.
Yeah, or the EP. Yeah, definitely.
Or the EP.
Definitely.
Yeah,
definitely.
Yeah, man. Well, listen, man. I got to tell you, you are much loved in San Antonio.
Thank you, brother.
We run a pop station here in San Antonio, and one of the biggest compliments I think that we've ever gotten is the comment of, oh my gosh, thank you so much for continuing to play Country Grammar, for continuing to play Ride With Me, for continuing to play, because most other stations, they don't do that, but we kind of bring that back just because you know,
Thank you, bro. I
this
appreciate it.
market, this state, it is the South. We do love hip
Yeah.
hop and we do love country music at the same time. You know what I
Well,
mean?
there
So
you go.
and just thank you from the entire state of Texas on capturing everything that we love about music, because it's not just about one genre or another. Like, we're moving into this world now where things are just mixing and
Merging.
mashing and matching. Yeah,
Exactly.
yeah.
Thank you, Ernie. Man, I appreciate it, man. Thank you, and thank your whole station and everything. And yeah, like you said again, you know, I was born down there, so it feels good, man, to have some love. So I appreciate that, definitely.
Oh, well, hopefully you can get down here for a show one day, man. And you can
Got
bring your
to.
kids, and they'll hear all the ladies still scream for Nelly.
Yeah, I appreciate
All right, man. Have a good one. We'll put you
Thank
guys
you.
back
You
on
too,
time.
Ernie.
Have a good one,
Thank
but
you, bro.
appreciate you. Bye.
Thank you, bro.
Yeah,
Appreciate it.
thank you.